here we're going to continue on with different types of reactions, but here I want to talk about some common combination reactions. So remember, combination was two or more reactants going to a product. So we're going to talk about some sub-combination reactions. All right, so the first one would be an alkali-metal combination reaction, or just an alkali-metal reaction. So here, this is a common reaction for alkali metals, and they're going to react with halogens. So remember, halogens was group 7, chlorine, bromine, iodine, all of that. So the general format for this would be 2 of the metal react with the halogen. Remember, the halogen is diatomic, and it's going to create the metal halogen, or metal halide, okay? So here we are going to have the metal, 2 of whatever the metal is, plus the halogen, ends up going to 2 of the compound. Okay? So in this, we've got a reaction with the halogen. So these halogen reactions, the halogens tend to react with metals to form ionic compounds. Here's an example of my ionic compound. And these ionic compounds, we call them metal halides, because there's the metal with the halogen. So we like to call them metal halides. Now, the metal halides could be MX and some number. In this case, it was MX1, but it doesn't necessarily always have to be that way. It could be that I have a coefficient in front of my halogens, which is going to affect the subscript here. So just an example, I can have iron as my metal reacting with chlorine, and that would make my metal halide, okay? You don't have to necessarily know this generic sense. What you would know is if I said iron reacted with chlorine, you would make a metal halide, specifically iron 3 chloride, and then you would balance the reaction as we've already discussed, okay? Another type of reaction, so this is with halogens with a metal, okay? So this is my generic one. Here's another example. The halogens, not only will they react with metals, but they also like to react with hydrogen. So the halogens also like to react with hydrogen, and so if they reacted with metals and made metal halides, then if they react with hydrogens, what do you think those would be called? Hydrogen halides. Okay? So an example of this would be H2 plus, gas, plus whatever the halogen is going to make my hydrogen halide. Okay? So it could be that I've got chlorine that I'm reacting with to get my hydrogen halide. So I got lots of options there. Reacting the hydrogen with any of the halides to make hydrogen halides. All right, last thing for this chapter is we're going to do an example problem we'll do the example on the next lecture, and that's it for chapter 7.